So I thought I'd share a nice little sketchbook tour for you guys. I've gone through a lot of sketchbooks since I've started my artistic journey, but by far, this has become my favorite one. Not just because of what I put in there, but also the size, the paper quality, and just all around, this is a great sketchbook. This is the Hannah Mueller Nostalgie A5. I believe it has 40 sheets in there, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check that for you. But this is just such a good sketchbook. For the stickers here, I have one from Paloma the Peach. I have another one from, I believe, Violetta Stickers. These are both Violetta stickers. I got them from the Sticker Planet. Here, it's a store nearby. These are those judgmental cats. You can get them in a fun little sticker book. And this is John Darien's book. He has a collection of bespoke illustrations that he has turned into stickers. Really cool stuff if you're into like nature illustrations or like scientific notations and that kind of thing. So let's jump right in. So as you can see here, I started out with a travel journal idea. I went to Mexico in January. My brother got married, and I went to Puerto Vallarta. And this is a little ticket they give you at the airport so you can actually leave when you to go home. So here, I was also playing around with typography. And these stickers, well, this is actually one sticker from Sticker Bomb. It's a collection of like skateboard stickers from like all these different graffiti artists from around the world, and they compiled a bunch together. So yeah, I was there from January 7th to the 11th. So here's what I started on the flight there. I decided to do a full kind of visual inventory of what I brought with me in my carry-on. So here, how I packed, what I packed. I brought a nice pouch. I have a nice little Altoids tin palette that I really like using. I don't have it near me right now, but I will definitely share it in another video as well. My little pencil case. I brought a towel with me. I was so proud of myself for my water brushes. Yeah, I brought 4 sketchbooks. Don't ask me why. Do not know. I'm just excessive and I have anxiety that what if I want to change formats? When in all honesty, that did not happen, because when you stick to one that you get comfortable with, you're gonna forget the rest of them, and it was just extra weight in my bag and it was annoying. But anyways, I'm glad I still had the little travel one though, which is cool. My Jackson Arts pencil roll. This is really handy. You can store a whole bunch of pencils in here. So like, yeah, by Jackson's. So I had all this in there with different colored pencils and different crayons and stuff like that. So yeah, more on the plane because we really had to pass time. My little tray table, and then how I arranged everything. I was watching a podcast, or audio recording as he calls it. It's this comedian, Kenny Sebastian. He's from India. It's a really fun little panel type video you can watch with other comedians where they just shoot the shit essentially. And then here's the plane we're on. So exciting. Yeah, so here are the seats. I had to be kind of creepy and like peer from the side across a woman who was sitting next to me to see what the other passenger on the other side of the aisle seat was looking like. It's hard being an observational artist without being a creep, you know? We're not a creep, but just inquisitive, let's say that. But yes, the seats are super compact because, let's be honest, they're just trying to save money. Anyways, let's get back into fun stuff. So January 8th, the day after I arrived, I went to the beach with my mom and a friend of ours. And because of how the water is flowing all the time, the rocks are hella smooth. And they were so pretty. I obviously didn't take any because you leave the land as it is, as being a conscious tourist. My purse, or my bag here, was this nice little small one that I kept all my supplies in. I really liked watching the sellers here because they kind of reminded me of trips to India where you would see them just doing the most. I messed with the feet here and the arm, but it's all part of the process. Nothing's perfect. We're human beings. We're not machines. And yes, my feet, You can ignore that if you like. And yeah, as I said here, he walked away and the idea came a bit too late. But that's alright. You know, at least something came to be on the page. I was also testing out these Faber-Castell, not exactly sure how to say it, I'm sorry, watercolor markers, which are really cool. And then here was kind of a euphoric moment for me because I was literally, yeah, like it says, like I was standing here and I'm watching the water and the waves come up onto the surface where the sand is, and watching like the birds flying everywhere, people walking. I obviously didn't include those because I just wanted to be about the landscape itself, but you could argue people are part of the landscape. But anyways, you can see here where I messed up kind of with those watercolor markers. You have to be fast with them. That is what I learned. So trial, error, and then success. And again, we're all learning here. It's all part of the process, and we're enjoying making mistakes because we can just flip the page. So the next day we went to this town called San Pancho, which is about half an hour to 45 minutes, at least for us it was, outside of Puerto Vallarta. It's a nice little tourist town, and it's really cute and colorful, and yes, roosters were absolutely everywhere, which was very fun to see. And then there's a really cool, I think it was like a convenience store of some kind. They had these really incredible illustrations on the wall, and I just wanted to capture those. Also, I took pictures and drew these afterwards. This wasn't an in the moment thing because I take a long time and I was with 3 other people, so that wasn't gonna happen. But we went to another little seller and they had these really cute magnets that were cars, and then these little stuffed cats and whatnot. It was really nice. So the next day, so here's the story. I'm not great observing things that I don't fully get interested in immediately, if that makes sense. It has to be on my terms that I'll find it interesting and when I focus on it. So I'm sitting on this little veranda with my mom, and she's like, look at the tree, and my blind eye is looking to another tree. I'm like, I don't see anything. And she's like, no, turn your head, look the other direction, and there was this little guy. Well, not little, these guys are huge, but these iguanas can be up to like, what was it, like more than 3-4 feet lengthwise or whatever. But it was just chilling in the tree, and that was an experience because turns out iguanas are really freaking cool. So here's January 10th. Yes, my brother got married. He was wearing like a cream linen suit. This isn't the best depiction of him. He's more handsome than this, but you know, we tried. And I'm not great at hands, but I'm working on that. So January 11th, here it comes. We're going home. As much as I was enjoying vacationing on a resort, I also am a homebody and I wanted to go home. So I was really excited. Got some great pictures from the window seats, and yeah, like it says here, we got lucky, my mom and I, because we got space between us, because we are both, again, we're both homebodies, we're both Cancerians, and we like having space, especially after being overstimulated and tired. So, all right, yeah, airport souvenirs. This was just after coming home. I wanted to just kind of close out this chapter of this trip, which I was really happy about, and just picking up photos that I took, and they had such beautiful plants as well, like my goodness. I wanted to capture those, and I always thought, you know, oh, people are just drawing these leaves, they don't actually look like that. Turns out they do, and I'm glad that something that I thought was imaginary turns out to be real, and that made me really happy. They had a lot of natural elements within the resort, of course, being, you know, in Mexico, outside of the city, all these wonderful trees and plants, and also really funny creatures that were apparently opossums that were running amok. Those are amusing. And I really like these benches here. They were really nice to sit in the sun in. Yes, this is super lopsided because the reality is when I'm doing a lot of this, I'm either sitting on the couch or I turn the sketchbook and I don't realize until I finish whatever I'm working on that it's all lopsided and it looks weird, but that's okay. Again, we're humans, we're not machines. While I was in San Pancho, I went to this little shop and I saw these little art pieces by this artist, Osvaldo Para. So he does little pieces about San Pancho, and I thought it was just nice to add these to my sketchbook as an homage to an artist from the area. And here, yes, I love Mexico. I can't wait to go back. You know, with how things are where I am, it's not the greatest, and that makes me really sad. But I still want to see the world because I know it's a beautiful place with good people. All right, we're done traveling. We're home now. I have been watching a lot of Kusha Kona's videos. If you don't see her on your algorithm, you should. She's wonderful. She takes a very natural approach on drawing things around you and also understanding on how to draw things in real time. So I decided to draw some of the chairs that we have in our apartments. We've had them for many, many years, but I just love how I got to depict them in this illustration here. I just used an ink, I believe it was just like a ballpoint pen or something, or like a technical pen of some kind. And there are a lot of floral details on here, but I kind of took some creative liberties, meaning I didn't want to draw them and I just wanted to focus on the shape of the chair itself and put the shading where I found it to be effective, and decided to then toughen up and be an adult and actually add some details, which I actually ended up liking here. This is actually my mom's knitting at the time. Kind of looks like a caterpillar, but I really enjoyed the shading that I got here. And this was using some water-soluble graphite pencils, I believe, and I think they're from Caran d'Ache, if I remember this correctly. So here we started learning about repeating subject matter, which was something that was very helpful. That was something I learned from Helen Wells. She's also on YouTube as well, where she talks about finding things in your home, depicting them in a way maybe in different styles, sizes, or mediums, and just trying your best to draw things quickly. Also, Onmar Wynn is another lovely artist on YouTube who talks about that same concept as well, of drawing the same object in different ways. So I wear glasses every single day. I have about 7 or it could be more pairs at this point, because again, that's all I wear. So I keep them lying around in different places because I like functioning without my glasses, even though I'm supposed to use them to see. But yeah, these are a couple of pairs that I have. I'm noticing this gap now and that's kind of bugging me, so I might add it back after this. We shall see. This is a teapot that my mom has because we drink a lot of tea in the winter. We like doing the loose leaf teas. So I decided to draw it as is and then putting it away and trying to kind of alter the shape of it as well here. I like this spread. It's nice. It's simple. Another mug I wanted to do that we have so many mugs. And this is just a mocha pot. I was just trying to do things quickly in a fountain pen or like a liner of some kind to just see how I can practice values. Same thing goes here, another value practice. This is my door with a tote bag that I have bought that I was also just trying to practice creases in fabric and using other colors besides black. I have these really nice pencil brush pens. I don't have it near me. I really should have brought stuff near me. Anyway, here we are practicing faces. I'm not great with people drawing in real life, but I'm doing the best I can in both facets. And I had tried my best using different reference photos in Pinterest, making sure I stay away from like those AI modified ones because those can kind of look a little weird. But I realized I really like drawing seniors. The wrinkles, the outfits, there's so much more personality. Not that I'm saying young people don't have it, but particularly when learning about, you know, faces and how they move and features, old people, it's kind of the goal. Here's another exercise I tried from Kusha Kona's channel. She said, you know, draw your hands while you're drawing. I tried that. As you can see here, it's kind of ugly and makes me sad, but I'm also like, it's part of the process, so I'll get better at some point. We'll see if I can conquer hands again. Ooh, I like this one. So I have a page, an Instagram page. I collect a lot of Doc Martens. I have a lot in the collection, like a large collection at this point. And this was one of my photos that I took at my older apartment buildings. And yeah, it was fun using myself as a reference, which is so cool. And I love the detail that came in here with like the sole and then the stitching as well, and the values with the pants and the denim as well. So I'd say use your own stuff too. Take random pictures and just give it a go. You never know what's going to work for you. Here is a winery I went to in Hamul, which is near San Diego. We went with a couple family friends and we did a what's it called, like a wine flight or something. We tried different white wines. Low-key, they were kind of gross, and all of them were too sugary and made my head hurt. I'm a beer and whiskey woman, so you can understand how it wasn't my favorite, but it was still a beautiful experience because we were in nature and people were just happy, having fun, drinking wine, and couples were painting, and it was real cute. This, I would say, is the beginning of my ink pen phase, you could say, or just like ink illustration phase and attempts I was doing. This is what my day looks like. I work from home as a help desk support specialist. So here's my computer. Here I have my sketchbook, my pens. I think this is another book I was reading at the time. And this is our kitchen, our kettle, what's it called? Air fryer, all that good stuff. Here is a reference I took from Pinterest. The proportions are off. The shading is off. Not a big fan, but you know what? I showed up to that day and I gave myself a pat on the back for trying, which you should do as well. Even if you're not feeling it in your sketchbook and you just put like 2 lines, at least you showed up, right? Ooh, this is another spread I really like. So I got these technical pens from Pentel. I got like a 0.3, 0.45, I think. Yeah. And I decided to just sketch things that were on my desk. These are those Korean ginseng candies. Those are really good. A stabilo, I don't know how to say this. It's European. I'm sorry, Europeans. A highlighter. This is a crayon extender that I use for my Caran d'Ache wax pastels when they've been ground down or since I broke them in half, like for some reason. I don't know why. It's really handy. You can see here, you can just put your wax pastel on the top, you press it in there, it grabs it, it's great. And you can end up using your Caran d'Ache pastels all the way to the bottom. Here, I went to a cafe. It's a new one that's opened up down the road from where I live. It's really nice. It's simple, it's easy, they have good music, it's a vibe. And this is all done using Caran d'Ache Neo Color 1s and I think some colored pencil for like the initial sketch. I can't fully remember, but I like the textures and how I captured like the urban setting. So for I know some of you watching this work with me or have worked with me. But fun fact, I was actually born in Seattle, and I am a Pacific Northwest woman to the core, in spite of living in very sunny California. But I love plants. I love seeing wild plants. I think nature is beautiful. Ironic thing is I have a sun allergy, so I can't be outside for too long. But I love admiring what nature does, because nature is so much more powerful than we give it credit to. So I got a book from eBay, which is a nice detailed index of all these different flowers. It was published, I believe, in like 94 or earlier. eBay is a great place to find used books, along with thrift books as well if you're not into eBay. I understand the reasoning behind not wanting to use it. But I decided to do some more ballpoint pen illustrations. I believe this is one of the pilot ballpoint pens in like 0.3. Really wonderful for doing these types of illustrations. You can see here there's a lot of texture that you can get with such a fine nib, and it makes the whole illustration process really nice. And here I did more typography using kind of like a more stylized, what I think is close to like an Arial font, but it could be different. I also worked for a typography company in the past, so I got to learn about these things, but it's besides the point. So I got a bunch of ephemeral from eBay as well, because I was very curious, because I saw the journaling gals and guys using these ephemerals like book pages, vintage photos, and all kinds of stuff to put in their journals, but I thought I can sketch over it instead. It'll be kind of cool. So here I'm testing ideas. There was no intention for it to be good. Not that there ever is an intention to be good in a sketchbook. That's a playground for me. I'm just trying everything. So these are these Enme acrylic markers. I really like them. I do also the Artix ones, but I like these Enme ones a little more because of the shaking action that actually brings the ink, just like the Sharpie ones do, which are also great ones as well. And I just wanted to do like underground or underwater plants, which I thought were really cool. The reference was from Pinterest. This is also a reference photo from Pinterest, another one of those ephemeral sheets I decided to glue on there. I used a fountain pen. I actually used the Sailor Fude Manin bent nib. It's this one over here, the fun little green one with that bent nib, which is really nice for getting those strokes in there. And the details were with a Sharpie white acrylic marker. I really like the details on this one, actually. I went to a cafe with my friend Simone. Shout out to Simone. It was really cool. It was a nice, very minimalistic design to it. It was very aesthetically pleasing to see just a very simple color scheme going around a cafe without any overstimulating colors or just extra nonsense per se. So I like this table, and I decided to draw this table. That's very much how I find ideas, especially when I'm outside. Like if I see like a pile of dirt and I like that pile of dirt, I'm gonna draw that pile of dirt. Here's another ephemeral, and I decided to create a little photo based off of the text here, which says from the tropics to the Antarctic. So I found another reference photo, and I decided to draw like more of an Arctic scene that was reflective of what I was reading. This was with the Neocolor ones as well. This was a wax pastel day, so the next few pages I know are going to be Neocolor ones. These were photos that I were from my trip to India in 2017. This was in Mumbai. This was in a park that I was with family, seeing different like little gardens that are on like higher elevations above the city in a way, but are still very much part of the landscape of the city. I love Bombay, Mumbai. I really want to go back. I know the air quality is like trash, but you know, I still want to go back. This one, I was in New Delhi. I actually got taken to my mom's elementary school, and she showed me her desk, and she actually was able to go into the classroom and sit where she sat. And it made my heart really happy. I love my mom, and I love that I got to see this and share this moment with her. It was really wonderful. This very whimsical, fun spread was done based off of the reference photos from Pawnee Park. She's on Patreon as well, and YouTube, I think. She primarily works in Neocolor ones and does these really beautifully vibrant, expressive pieces using just one medium, and it's just so fun to go through her pages and her videos to see how she makes all these very wonderfully, whimsical pieces. So I took a combination of a few different reference photos that she had, and I created this little garden where, you can sip your tea, you can look at the house on the inside if you want to do that. I don't know why, but you would. And a little bird bath. This little birdie guy, and I think this birdie came out real nice. These were some random objects on my desk. Some lip balm, the clampy. This sharpener is really good. It's a Blackwing one. If you can get your hands on it, go for it. It's really good. My scissors. Another view of the sharpener as well, and a lopsided monitor, because again, we're lopsided in this town. We do not do anything straight because we don't realize the orientation of things. I loved this one too. So I had seen so many of these drawings on Pinterest, on Instagram. People were doing these really nice wide angle perspectives of whatever environment they were in, be it outside or at home, and perspective is something I really struggle with. And I wanted to give this a go. And turns out I ended up really liking this. I enjoyed the process of creating this, and I think I want to do more stuff like this. I just need to go outside more. But yeah, this is our living room. It's that famous IKEA shelf. We got our side tables. Yes, this is a bed. This is a single bed we use as a day bed because we're cozy. And again, it's that same chair that comes into play. I really like the idea of pulling from different pages for a better understanding of how they look in different places. And this was also done in fountain pen. Here's some more plants. I got different fountain pens over the past few weeks, mainly from TWSBI, and was also testing out different ink colors as well. So this one is the TWSBI broad nib 1.1 stub. So meaning the 1.1 millimeter stub, which is, that's not the right one, this one here. Beautiful blue color. It's the piston style fountain pen, so you have to twist it to get the ink. And it's this really lovely, like, squarish nib, if you can see that. So it gives you nice, really wide strokes. I also ended up going with the TWSBI broad as well, because I just wanted to see how it works. I saw so many people, so specifically Pikarar, she's also wonderful. She uses this for a lot of her drawings. I use it a lot more for writing, even though when you do little sketches like these that are a little bit looser, it is a really nice feeling to get those nice smooth strokes in there. And I really like this one. And I was just playing around with more fountain pen ink. This is also using the Sailor fountain pen again. And this is the bent nib, which gives nice brush strokes or a brushstroke effect to it. And the ink here is a KWZ brown pink. This is the TWSBI ink itself in blue black, and this is the platinum carbon ink. These two are water resistant. This is not. So if you are looking for something that is water resistant and good for your fountain pen, the carbon is great. The TWSBI is also wonderful if you're looking for something slightly different. This was done with a Lamy Safari and just the fine nib. It's a nice, actually no, this was a Pilot Kakuno. Yes, Pilot Kakuno in the medium nib using the blue black ink, which is also water resistant. I like water resistant. It just works for me. I don't have to stress or nothing. And I really like doing this. This whole design, actually this concept of the rectangle and the shading was inspired, actually very much experimented with me from another YouTuber that I saw was gosh, it starts with a T. I cannot remember their name. I will find it and I will put it like on the side here or something. And here's more with the Pilot Kakuno. Just wanted to try doing straighter lines. Still working on getting those shapes right. It was a long day. And then this little toy gun with a bang, and yes, it's a toy. I'm not for weapons or violence, but I just liked how this one came out. I was on hold and I need to do something that wasn't on my phone, otherwise I would have accidentally ended the call, which I have a habit of when I try to multitask. And I don't care much for these, but I like the bird. Here is another lopsided, of kind of diagram, illustration or whatever of what I'm looking at when I'm sitting on the couch. And I see like the kitchen and the little bar stools and the table you have and the AC unit and whatever. There's my little hydro flask. Ooh, I loved doing this one. I was actually really afraid to do this one because of how many details or perceived details I thought were in here. But this was another picture from my India trip in 2017 in Mumbai. We were on the streets and we saw this corporate building, and just the way the red lights were illuminating this entire thing while it was nighttime was really beautiful. This is from some book, the reference picture of The Eye of Beauty, some kind of, it was just a nature photography book I had in my apartment. It was just trying things. This was another reference picture from Unsplash. This boat was actually in the back as compared to a different one in the front, but this one just caught my eye because of the color and the little orange buoy, is that what they call it? I'm not nautical, I don't know. But really enjoyed doing this one. I actually have a process reel on how I did this from start to finish. Here is another reference photo from, I believe, Pinterest. I like doing architectural depictions in crayon or colored pencil. I feel it makes them a lot livelier. And it just gives the building so much more personality than what you would typically see if you were using like watercolor. Even though watercolor urban sketching is absolutely beautiful, I like the kind of childlike approach to such a complex subject. I really like doing this one. This was really fun. And this was the Neocolor 1s and a Neocolor 2. Oh yeah, this one was just a bunch of like Derwent and Faber-Castell and Koh-i-Noor pencils. Another reference from Pinterest. Towards the end of Sketchbooks, you can kind of tell where I've, how do I say this nicely, lose my sense, all my senses, and I'm just trying to finish it. Because I get really, really impatient when I have like 10 pages left, and sometimes I've had 20 pages left and I push myself 2 hours after coming home when I was working outside the house, or on a Friday night from like 11 to maybe 2 in the morning, I finish a sketchbook. It's a lot, but you know, we do the most here. But yeah, this was another reference photo using Neocolors and yeah, Neocolor ones. Yeah, this was a church building, I think. Another plant one with some colored pencils. I think it's a Protea. I'm not sure how you call it or you pronounce it, but it's a nice layered petal plant that I also really enjoyed doing this, especially with the petals here. Like all that detail and all those different shades, just they gave the look I was desiring. I have no words. Ink spilled. I tried some rocks and some nonsense and my craft cart, and that's supposed to be a sketchbook, maybe a pencil roll, a towel, random nonsense. I tried doing a moody landscape. Clearly that went well, huh? and then rock. I actually do like the texture on this one now that I think about it. I do like the values and the textures I got. I think it came out really cool. And I used watered down ink and a fountain pen for this. I just dipped the brush in like on the paper towel where ink had spilled, where I had picked it up with some water, and I just went to town on that. Sneaky little squid. He was supposed to be in the center, but who goes by plans here? I don't. But I did a mix of different fountain pens for this one for the detailing. I have grown an obsession with traveler's journals. I have 5 now, which is a little excessive, but I also like to keep things compartmentalized for my thoughts. And I can also do a video on that, on how I have designated them to different thought processes. And also just, I love stationery. And I was very, very much influenced by Job's journals. He is absolutely lovely. Does really fun, comforting vlogs, and just loves talking about stationery, especially with working in the field as well. He has a lot of insight and just really cool, like, customizations for your travel journals if you're into that. This is, Pinterest reference from Dubrovnik, Croatia. I was working on, again, perspective, detailing, drawing with a fountain pen, because I wasn't sure with that square snib how that worked, how to get the most out of it, but I really like this, and I think the textures are good. Slightly overworked here for my opinion, but you know, overall, not bad. Another painting of when I went to the winery. This is the stage we've reached now, which is, I'm tired. I love this sketchbook, but I'm losing patience, and I just want to finish it. So this is going to go kind of fast. 2 squids, love sea creatures. Forgot what this one was called, but it was really cool. It had a red shell on the top and different little details. This funny looking guy, I love these little ones too. They just look confused, and it makes my heart happy. Whimsical leaves and whatnot. This is supposed to be some kind of church building, but I try not to do religious depictions for only reason I just don't want to offend anybody. And everyone should be free to practice what they like. And you can use reference pictures as inspiration and not replication. I love the movie Fantastic Mr. Fox. When they're in the tunnel, this is the scene where they're checking the watches to see when they're going to go attack the farmers or whatnot. Great movie, and I really like the textures that came out here. This is one of those MB pods. I don't remember the name of them, but I really like the wiry look they have to them after they've kind of shed those seeds. It just looks really nice and natural. Another reference picture from Pinterest was doing a lot of practice with perspective and also ink and watercolor sketching, or like urban sketching per se. At this part I'm just not wild about. I think I should have added more here, but overall I really like the colors that I chose and how I use them for different parts of the composition. I want to do more work on these. And last but not least, one of those weird ass plants. I don't really know what to call them, but I was just reaching the end of my tether and I just wanted to finish this. And some swatches when I was testing out how watercolor behaves on this page, and that was it. Thank you for joining me on this journey of exploring my sketchbook and getting insight onto my artistic mind and the choices that I make. I look forward to making more of these. I do have a lot more plans, and since this is the first video, I understand if it wasn't as refined or if this was choppy. I lost my train of thought, but you know, we're working on it as we've been saying throughout this whole process, and I look forward to doing more. Thank you. Bye.